Block's not doing too well right now. The O Block 6
Yeah.
just got convicted.
That was rough.
Yeah.
What was that like for you to see it? You weren't aware of any of these guys beforehand, I'm assuming. You know?
Well, I knew FBG Duck.
Right.
I interviewed him twice. In both interviews, I said that you should move out of Chicago.
Yeah.
And in both interviews, he argued with me about it, only to be murdered in Chicago, in an area that nobody ever thought you'd be in danger.
Right.
You know, it's like a Rodeo Drive of Chicago.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't. It blows my mind that when did this happen? 2022,
So
21, maybe
21, something like
21. That in 2021, 6 people can get together and feel they can get away with the murder of a high-profile rapper in downtown Chicago, and get away with it.
Right.
You know, I mean, I understand people get angry and there's tempers and, you know, you do things at the spur of a moment, but you're talking about 6 people were involved and they have text messages and cars being used and getaway drivers. And like, you really think y'all gonna get away with this in 2021 with cell phones and cameras everywhere, with Chicago being what it is? This is not in a cornfield somewhere in Iowa. You know, you just leave a dead body there and you just...
I think that this is an example of dudes who, I'm not saying that the dudes who got picked up for this, that they necessarily like killed a bunch of people before, but a huge percentage of the murders in Chicago go unsolved. So I feel like that's probably an example of these dudes thinking that they could just get away with whatever. Meanwhile, you commit this kind of crime in this sort of public area, the cops are going to like very much take serious interest in it.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, listen, you shoot somebody in a back alley somewhere, and that person might not have some family, or you know, this might be a homeless person, or you know, someone that doesn't have an a fan base. But you shoot someone in the middle, you know, in front of the Fendi store,
right?
With you know, upper end shoppers being terrified and running for their lives and saying, "I'm never going back to the street again," because there was a shooting last time I went there. You know, stores possibly going out of business, messing up, you know, the finance of that city.
They're going to figure that one out.
They're going to figure it out. And look, for example, like, you know, one of my security in New York is active NYPD. And he told me flat out that the news affects the cases that they prioritize.
Yeah.
His sergeant will come in and say, okay, New York Daily News just covered this murder, so everyone, I'm going to put extra resources over here, blah, blah. If no one reports on the shit, I mean, yeah, they'll try to solve it, but they're not going to put the same level of attention. They're not going to put the same amount of manpower. So FBG Duck, yeah, he wasn't, you know, Kanye, but he was a known rapper in Chicago. He had millions of followers, millions of views, like, and it's done in a very high profile area. And his mom is making a fuss out of it. And, you know, she's doing interviews and that type of thing. I don't get it. Like, it's just mind blowing that you would even want to be involved in something like that.
Right.
You know, if someone told me, hey, I'm going to go kill so-and-so, no, I'm good.
Well, allegedly there's a bunch of...
I don't know who this is.
Allegedly there's a bunch of money on the table for them if they successfully pulled that off.
Right, 100,000 I heard.
Well, I mean...
Split between 6 people. What is that, like 15,000 a person?
I mean...
A lot of good that does them now, even if they got paid. Seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously, 100,000? Yeah. 100,000 over a high-profile murder? That seems like the deal of a lifetime for whoever put that money up. You know what I'm saying? It's just... It's so unbelievably low compared to the ramifications.
Right.
And on top of it, what if they actually say who put that money up? Now you're putting your own, you know, the rest of your life, you know, up on the line. If that comes back to you as a murder for hire.
Well, there's a lot of people who think that Vaughn would have been indicted or there would be some kind of RICO charge, based on this specific thing. Which I don't know if there's
the
actual
FBG Duck thing.
Yeah, I don't know if there's actual
FBG
evidence.
Duck died after Vaughn,
right?
So,
but like the money could have previously been put up. Obviously, there's like associates with, but you know, there's a lot of people who think that would have been how that played out.
I don't know, man. I've heard rumors, but I've never. I can't tell you specifically this is what Vaughn did or didn't do. So yeah, I'm not going to put that on there.
No, definitely. But watching something like that go down. it puts you in a little bit of a weird position, right? Because on one hand, you're so shocked by the pure horror of the fact that this could take place. But at the same time, you and I have both been in this game long enough that we've seen this take place, even just in Chicago, over and over and over, back and forth. And it's kind of hard to even summon the courage to post an Instagram story saying this needs to stop when you know that there are these root causes of it that seem like they're going to prevent it from stopping.
It's sad, man. And people need to take it upon themselves to realize that they're humans and they're not trees. You know what I'm saying? If you're a tree, you're stuck where you are, right? You're not going anywhere. If you're a human, you can go wherever the hell you want. And if you're, you know, I've lived in the hood before, and I'm like, F this place. I'm not built for this. I'm not going outside every morning and dealing with beef with the people who live on the same block. I've dealt with that before. It's dumb. It's a horrible way to live. And at the end of the day, I understand that not everyone's rich and everyone has, you know, people have responsibilities and so forth, but there's nothing more important than your life. There's no price tag that can be put on you seeing tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I don't think too many people take $1 billion today to die tomorrow.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean? 100 billion. I don't know a single person that would take $100 billion today and know that they will die tomorrow.
The only way you could even justify it would be to say, well, if my kids or my family can have that money, then maybe it's worth sacrificing myself.
And I
right?
think when it comes down to it, they might double guess it on the last minute, unless they just feel they have nothing to live for at all. And they hate their life and they're thinking about suicide anyways. But any person who reasonably likes their own life doesn't want to die. And if you know that there's a reasonable chance of you dying because there's been so many instances of violence around you, you know, Duck has gotten shot. His brother got killed, you know, a few years before he got killed. He knows there's a target on his back. He knows he's doing songs like Dead Bitches and he's poking the bear. Why stay in Chicago?
Right.
At that point, you say, all right, LA, Vegas, Atlanta, Miami. Yeah. I mean, you really think that those dudes from O Block were going to buy plane tickets and all go down there to go find you in fucking Vegas? That's not going to happen. It's a crime of opportunity. Yo, Duck is here. He's in front of the Fendi store. Oh, word? Hold on. We're 2 miles away. Let me, let me go, which I guess is kind of what happened, right? Based on the trial. Okay, yeah, we could go get him right now within the next 20 minutes. Oh, Duck is in Vegas. He's at the Bellagio. Okay, let me go get a plane ticket and fly to Vegas and hang out at the Bellagio for 3-4 days, hoping I'll see him. Oh, he's not here anymore. I've just wasted. You know what I mean? Like, who's going to do this?
Right.
And have the paper trail of you going out to Vegas. You know what I'm saying? It's just like most of these guys who are smart, like the Boosies of the world or the Dirks of the world, they just move.